CJ's looking for you.
Huh?
CJ's looking for you.
Donna?
Yeah.
Good morning, Josh. It's a pretty good way to start the day.
Good morning.
What's up?
CJ's looking for you.
Tell her I'm in the office.
Josh, I'm saying CJ is looking for you.
What did I do?
How would I know?
Because you know everything.
I do know everything.
Donna?
I'm saying you say that now, but anytime I want to make a substantive
You
contribution...
make plenty of substantive contributions.
Like what?
This could be a substantive contribution.
I need a raise.
So do I.
You're my boss.
I'm not the one who pays you.
Yes, but you could recommend that I got a
Donna,
raise.
she's looking for me. Do you think this is a really good time to talk about a raise?
I think this is the best time to talk about a raise.
Donna, you're not a very nice person.
You gotta get to know me.
Donna.
The best I can cobble together from the small shards of information I've been able to overhear in the restroom and at the Danish cart.
Donna.
Is it possible that there's a situation involving Sam, a woman, and CJ being denied information about something?
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do.
Hide in your office?
No, I'm not gonna hide in my office. I am gonna go into my office and devise a strategy. That is what I do. I'm a professional, not a little boy.
That's the spirit.
But if she calls, I'm at the dentist. I'll be back in an hour.
Got it.
Yeah!
Wow, are you stupid?
There aren't many television shows who can claim to have been on constant repeat since the date they were first aired. But The West Wing, initially launched in 1999, is one of those TV shows. At the point of writing this essay, The West Wing is currently being shown on Freevee, Sky Go and Channel 4 in the UK respectively. At the show's peak, it drew in about 17 million views per episode during Season 2, following its first Emmy win. The show would go on to win a total of 29 Emmys, including Outstanding Multi-Camera Sound Mixing for a Series or Special in 2006, Outstanding Directing for a Drama Series in 2003, and Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series in 2002. When John Wells and Aaron Sorkin pitched the show to NBC, they were turned down due to the station's research which found there was a recent stigma with creating politically based TV content. This may have been related to the public's growing disenfranchisement with politics in general after the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal which broke in 1998, although they did agree to reading a pilot script. 1 year later, and with the desire to keep John Wells working for the station, he was executive producer on ER at the time, the pilot was filmed. As John Wells said in an interview with the Writers Guild Foundation, I forced them to make it. Clearly, Wells could see the immense potential the show held. The show is well known for its filming style. The pilot episode opens with an introduction to the main characters, beginning with a visual of Sam Seaborn, Deputy Communications Officer, chatting to a reporter in a bar. In quick succession, the other main characters, Leo McGarry, the Chief of Staff, CJ Craig, Press Secretary, Josh Lyman, Deputy Chief of Staff, and Toby Ziegler, Communications Director, are seen in different settings which introduce the elements of their characters. For Toby, it's arguing with a flight attendant after having a laptop and a mobile phone out during a landing. Sam was hooked up with an unknown woman, CJ is trying to impress a man at the gym, and Josh is waking up in a state of disvelishment in his office. The viewer is also introduced to someone called POTUS, who is clearly a person of some importance in all the characters. They leave to return what they were doing to their work. It's only at the end of the episode that we learn that POTUS is actually the President of the United States. One of the signature techniques employed by head cinematographer Thomas Delruth was the walk and talk. This allowed the viewer to quickly grasp the quick-moving, fast-paced environment in which the characters work. This was reflected in the equally rapid dialogue of the characters. It was clear to see that the viewer was going to have to work hard to keep up with the intensity and intelligence of the show. This technique also allowed the viewer to become almost present in the scene. At the end of Series 2, Episode 22, Two Cathedrals, in which Bartlett strongly questions his faith and his God following a series of catastrophic events, Thomas Del Ruth placed Bartlett in the centre of the screen to show how powerful he is at this moment. The audience's attention is solely focused upon Bartlett as he hosts the voice of pain and suffering. There is a scene where the camera is positioned at the top of a short flight of stairs, looking down at Bartlett as he makes his way across the crossing of the cathedral. He is challenging God to explain why God has punished him, a man of faith and Catholic values. The camera positioned at the top point places the viewer in the position of God, and at this moment in time, Bartlett is angry, wounded and scared. As he walks up the stairs towards the sanctuary, the most holy part of the church, Bartlett is at his most intense, his most scared, his most questioning. There is one moment when Bartlett is positioned between two pillars, underneath the stained glass window, and his arms are stretched open, almost a representation of Jesus on the cross. The West Wing is very idealized. The show represents American politics as engaging and entertaining, and yet, in reality, it is far from this. The day-to-day reality of politics is when we're fighting the battles of party politics appears to take precedence over the real issues. The show clearly represents the democratic idealism of its creators. Apart from the first 2 seasons, which were produced under the Clinton administration, the 5 remaining seasons were produced under the Republican Bush administration. For many viewers, the show represents an opportunity to escape reality on which a group of politicians and their aides strive to make real change. Bartlett is shown as a man who would appear to be a natural Republican, a man with deeply established root in the state of New Hampshire and the USA. He owns a large farm with stables, a man of faith who has strong personal views about abortion, which appears to opposite his political views. The West Wing characters are idealized versions of their real-life counterparts. Sorkin drew upon the real-life experience of the staffers of then-President Bill Clinton, who allowed them to spend time with them in the White House. There, he earned a great deal of respect for the people who work behind the scenes of the White House. Their characters are passionate, driven to create a society where everyone can fulfill their potential without barriers of race, gender, class, economics, or religion. They take their position seriously and approach every task with a desire to do what is right. Sam is probably the most morally driven of all the characters, whether it is writing a speech where the wording won't just come together. Indeed, we find out that Sam came to work in the White House from a highly paid job at a prestigious law firm, a move which clearly had resulted in a substantial pay cut, showing his ability to sacrifice his financial comfort for his political views and idealism. Toby is the most brash of all the main staffers. Reflecting his background as the descent of a Jewish mobster in New York, he is as hot-headed as he is smart. He brings a realistic opinion to the table, even if it is shouted out rather than spoken, as his frustration and anger builds up inside of him. This can be seen in Season 2, Episode 18.
For 90 minutes that night there was a coup d'etat in this country.
He is imperfect and sarcastic, but also a man who can show great compassion towards others, as he displays in his arranging of the funeral of a deceased war veteran on behalf of his brother, who has learning difficulties. Indeed, one of our first glimpses of his gruff compassion is when he advises Josh on how to rectify his mistakes, which could cost him his position in the White House. Unexpectedly, in the episode In the Shadow of Two Gunmen Part 1, he offers physical comfort to his secretary, Ginger.
He had a real deep voice, light pearly teeth.
CJ Craig is the main female character in the show, and, through her journey in the show, demonstrates the sacrifices which must sometimes be made to achieve success in a career. She has a strong work ethic, and this pays out at the end of the entire series when she is shown to have achieved success in both her work and her personal life. She is honest without bounds. Indeed, the information about Bartlett's MS diagnosis was not shared with her. To have shared it with her would have put her in the position of having to lie to the press, something which she finds professionally unethical. Josh Lyman is the Deputy Chief of Staff. He is undeniably one of, if the most intelligent staff when it comes to understanding the mechanisms and current state of politics. He is politically astute and has run 2 successful presidential campaigns, for Bartlett and later for Matthew Santos. Josh is loyal both to the administration and to the people he works with. He defends Leo when his past drug and alcohol addictions are leaked and is the first person to physically contact him when it happens. His real humanity shines through in his depiction of a person suffering from PTSD following the shooting in What Kind of a Day It Has Been, Season 1, Episode 21. Leo is the straight-talking, brash, direct confidant of the president. Where Bartlett is the father figure, Leo is the older brother for the other characters. We see him give advice to Josh during his mental illness, encouragement to Sam during his political campaign, opportunity to CJ, and acts as a sparring partner and confidant to Bartlett. He's an inspiration to others inside the fictional world of the West Wing, and in reality, with the phrases, "What would Leo do?" being used in all contexts. This is seen through a news article from the website Medium called Decision Making During the COVID Pandemic. What would Leo do? Although the characters are not without their flaws, and this makes them more human, relatable, and provides much of the humour of the series, as well as the drama. Sam's naivety, Toby's state secrets, Bartlett and Mrs. Bartlett's MS, Josh's fisherman outfit, and Leo's alcoholism and CJ's Egyptian cats are examples of both. The more comedic flaw is shown in Season 1, Episode 14, Take the Sabbath Day. Josh Lyman's assistant, Donna Moss, finds him asleep on his office floor, looking like a mess. It's obvious that when he wakes up, he is extremely hungover.
Oh my god. What happened to your clothes?
I may have wrinkled my suit.
Josh!
Donna, you want to speak very softly.
How did you get like this?
People were pouring champagne over each other.
Donna then sees the state of Josh's clothes, which are presumed dirty. Donna then takes Josh's suit to get it dry cleaned, leaving Josh to wear Sam's foul weather gear. She then hands him a cup of coffee, which Josh drinks and immediately spits out. This whole interaction showed Josh's immaturity, as he acts like a child not wanting to eat his vegetables, spitting them back out. The first interaction we have with him and deaf Democratic pollster Joey Lucas and her interpreter Kemi Ferning as they walk into Josh's office while he's resting his eyes as Kenny interpretates everything. He gets Lyman very confused, not realising that Joey Lucas is a girl instead of a guy, starts speaking to Kenny while he is looking at Joey and not at Josh, leading to Joey to shout,
"You idiot! I'm Joey Lucas!"
The lighting in the West Wing is very warm. This is seen during moments at night in the Oval Office, or during Bartlett's speech at the end of Season 3, Episode 2, 20 Hours in America Part 2. The warming light used throughout the show can connotate a few things. First, it can be seen as the relationship between the characters, such as the dinner between Leo and Bartlett in Season 2, Episode 17, The Stackhouse Filibuster. It could also be the view of Idealism, saying that the White House and the President have lost touch with the world, and they use the warm lighting to create this shell that's protecting them, such as how in the MS scandal, only Abby Bartlett was affected by her forfeiting her medical license, while the President and his team got off with only a little bump on their heads. The set of the West Wing changes very quickly. Rooms like the Oval Office and Roosevelt Room have very elegant and formal colours. The colour of the two rooms connotate a sense of respect and fairness. The rooms are respected on their power and impact on democracy instead of wealth, while the unseen rooms, such as the communications bullpen, are made with a modern feel, with massively heavy lighting and bright colours such as white and light blues. The soundtrack for the entire series was conducted and written by composer W.G. Snuffy Walden, such as the main title, The West Wing, and Walking the West Wing. Sound is also used to create the busyness of the White House, such as in the episode A Proportional Response, where Josh is asking Leo about hiring Charlie. You can hear the slightest conversations and a phone ringing. The music can also be slowed down to emphasize the seriousness of a situation, such as in retaliatory strikes. The reception to the show was huge. It gained 17 million viewerships in the second season, and was ranked 46th on Rolling Stone's best TV shows of all time. The people who made the show, NBC, wanted more money from Warner Bros. After the first 3 seasons was aired for $105 million combined. The jump was going to be from $1.6 million to $10 million per episode, meaning that season 4 would cost $220 million to air in its entirety. In conclusion, The West Wing has stood the test of time by challenging the political narrative of the period. It handles values, different opinions and oppositions with respect to their values. The West Wing constantly tells us to cherish our freedom and the choices in a world that seems to have less and less. The characters are the different values of political idealism and shows the values of democracy and inclusion. President Bartlett sums up this very well at the end of episode 15, Inauguration over there, in the 4th season.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful and committed citizens can change the world.